Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Doc and Queenie Guest Live. Hey, Queenie.
Hey, Doc, I love Guest Live. This is the coolest
I know you
thing
do.
ever.
I know you are just kind of into this networking thing and talking with people, and yeah, aren't you?
How did you find out about that? That you know I love networking.
I heard through the grapevine.
Ah, I see how that works. And the cool
Yeah,
part is when we get to meet amazing people while we are networking, we get to have them on Doc and Queenie Guest Live. This is so cool, and I recognize that face.
yes. And if you are local Kansas City Metro, we have a superstar in the room. We have Dr. Sabra Coop. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
We are
Well,
so
thank
happy to have you here today, not only as part of the Doc and Queenie family, of course, but definitely as part of our networking circle in Kansas City area. And you have such a huge name for yourself. We are beyond thrilled that you took some time out of your schedule to be with us today. Oh my gosh, Doc. I am so excited, seriously, to have Dr. Sabra here.
I am
Thank
too.
you.
Um, Dr. Sabra, could you tell us a little bit about, what you do and your approach and all that kind of stuff? Tell us about yourself, first of all.
Okay, yeah. I am a doctor of chiropractic, and so I see patients for regular chiropractic adjustments and soft tissue work, which I think is really important. Making sure that muscles are being cared for along with the joints. But then I also do functional medicine. So that piece is where I will do blood work, any type of lab testing I will do for a patient. And we look at it from a more narrow range instead of the clinical range for optimal results. We're able to figure out if people have nutrient deficiencies or hormone imbalances or gut health issues. So from there, I can help them with just diet and lifestyle, any vitamins that they might need, herbs, you name it, um, all about natural resources. So, yeah.
So now, oh, go ahead, Queenie.
As of this recording, we are at the first of the year 2024. And we're so excited once again to have you on as one of our first guests for Doc and Queenie Guest Live. But from a holistic standpoint, everybody's got New Year's resolution, New Year's revelation, goal setting, health challenges, whatever that is. Is this a huge, busy, cray time for you? Or how do you possibly get everyone on your schedule and the lab results and all this stuff so people can get started on the right track for the new year?
Yeah, well, I would say it just kind of depends. Sometimes the end of the year can actually be busier because people have deductibles that they've met, and so
Ah,
they're able to, get some reimbursements. I don't go through insurance, but when people have met their deductibles, then a lot of times they can get reimbursed from insurance from anything that they have done at my office. So honestly, it doesn't change a whole lot just because the end of the year can get busy because of that. But yeah, first of the year, it just kind of depends. I do have people that are, wanting to have a fresh start and kind of get up to date on how things are doing with their body internally. So yeah, so you were talking about, New Year's resolutions, and some years I do them, some years I don't. It just kind of depends. I mean, for a health kind of, sort of kick. But this year I was at Hobby Lobby and I saw this book. It's called The 40-Day Sugar Fast. It's actually a devotional. And I was like, oh, this is really intriguing. And I had some people in mind that I thought, you know what? I'm gonna pick up this book, and I had been planning on doing no sugar for the beginning of January anyway for myself, and so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna also send a couple people some books, and so I did that because I was like, you know what, I think it'd be great because they had wanted to also really do some things related to their health and with sugar. And that book has been really awesome, really great tool with, you know, a New Year's resolution like no sugar. But yeah, hopefully that answered your question.
Yes.
So could you, for the people that don't understand or don't know, just in a real simple explanation, what's the difference between like allopathic, like our Western medicine, I guess, and functional medicine? Like what's the difference? You know, like what makes you different? You know, there's blood work as a commonality between the two, but what is the difference between the two?
Yeah, that's a great question. So functional medicine, if you look it up, you'll hear pretty much any definition is talking about finding the root cause of any symptom. So typically you go to your primary care physician for allopathic medicine, and usually you'll say, okay, I have these symptoms. And so they will usually they'll prescribe you a medication, or they'll run some labs too. With functional medicine, we're looking at labs also, but we're looking at it from a more narrow range, and that's helping us figure out why we're getting those symptoms and getting to the root cause instead. So, for instance, say somebody is having acid reflux issues, and every evening they eat a meal, they are having, you know, heartburn or a cough related to it, or they're having other symptoms. So we're looking at why, you know, is it the food that you're eating? Is that giving you issues? Do you need a digestive enzyme to kind of help reboot stomach support and make sure that it's working optimally? Is it your thyroid? Is the thyroid affecting your digestive system? So we're kind of taking it from a whole body approach and really thinking of, so you have these symptoms, let's figure out what's causing it so that we can just get rid of it. You know, and so then you don't have to take a medication.
So functional medicine, would it be fair to say they look at the whole body instead of just specialized in one area?
They do. I think for functional medicine, there's for any kind of medicine, there's always going to be people that do have specialties. But I and a lot of functional medicine practitioners really like to take the whole body and figure out, okay, what's going on. So I talk a lot with my patients about foundations of health, and those are going to be your liver, blood sugar, thyroid, your adrenals, and your gut health, and making sure that those are all working like they should. If they are, then those will impact your hormones and kind of everything else from there. So yeah.
I love so much chiropractic, Dr. Sabra, and certainly functional medicine that you have been explaining to us. And I remember back 100 years ago when I was in corporate, I was mousing myself to death. And I went to one back then, I had a different chiropractor, and I went to a chiropractor and I said, my mouse thumb is killing me, like to the point all day long. I was in finance. And so imagine all the reports and all this stuff. And my mouse joint thing was killing me. And I said, can you please fix it? And I held my hand out and she starts digging on my spine. And I said, no, thank you very much. But never, my spine is fine. I need you to fix this right here. And of course, I'm sure she appreciated my input, but it was one of those things. As soon as she did whatever she did, all of a sudden this didn't hurt anymore. And I went, how did you do that when I told you that my hand was hurting and you started working on my spine? So it's amazing how the body talks to each other parts all over the place, and everything is so related. And I love that you bring that home for us in terms that we can actually understand. And that to me right there is worth its weight in gold.
I have a question. Here in Kansas City, we just got, at least where I live, we got 10 inches of snow. The bottom 1 to 2 is typical Kansas City weather where we had ice, and then we had a whole bunch of snow on top of that. I was wise though, Dr. Sabra. She is my practitioner, so I have to, look like I'm behaving. I did ask my sons to help me shovel the driveway. It just wasn't me.
That's good.
But do you have any advice or anything that people should think about when they're outside shoveling? And
I
have you
have a
seen?
statement, Doc. One
Yeah,
shovelful, for those who shall remain nameless, is 82 pounds. So I'm just here to tell you, one shovelful is 82 pounds. And I
my
happen to
shovel's
know.
only like this big,
Yeah.
Queenie. So
Yeah, it is. It was heavy snow this time.
yeah,
That's funny.
yeah. Well,
Well, I think uh, preparing yourself beforehand with making sure that you stretch. Sometimes we have tight muscles that we don't realize, and that can really affect low back pain. Of course, lifting with your legs instead of your back. Really focusing on, is your core engaging, so that when you do, say, make a little squat to take your, dig, that you're using your legs for the support. And then afterwards, I'm all about magnesium's probably one of my favorite suggestions for anything. It's great for blood sugar. It's great for muscles. It's great for a lot of things, adrenals, you name it. But I love Epsom salt baths because that's magnesium. I love magnesium spray that you can put on muscles directly, and it absorbs straight in. And those two options are really great because you're not having to swallow a capsule and it goes through your GI tract to then get distributed to your muscles. So I absolutely love magnesium sprays and Epsom salt baths for afterwards. And for muscles, moist heat is always a good option. And then ice, if you do ice, always do 10 minutes at a time, because if it's longer than 10 minutes, while it will numb the area, so that's great for pain, it can also increase inflammation after 10 minutes. So I always tell people just do 10 minutes at a time, and then you can always do it again. But that's great for inflammation and pain. And then moist heat, so like an Epsom salt bath and things like that, that's really great for muscles. And so both options are great.
or you could just walk outside. You don't need ice. You could just walk
Yeah.
outside, right? Stand out there, no
Oh
jacket for 10
my
minutes.
gosh. Oh my gosh. You hear all this wind howling and it's like, you've got to be
crazy.
kidding me. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. For those of you watching who are not local, Kansas City is in the midst of wind chills below zero and things like that. So that's what we're actually talking about. So I definitely appreciate that. Dr. Sabra, are most of your clients men or women? Are most of your clients young people or not so young? What is your client base look like?
Well, I would say definitely more women. And age range, I would say it really just depends. I see babies, toddlers, kids, teenagers, when they're in sports. So basketball season right now, I've got some basketball players, and then I see a lot of young women to, all the way up. And so I would say the majority of my patients would be women between the ages of like 22 to 80, really, because you kind of just, each phase of womanhood, you have different things going on, and so it is beneficial for all of those stages.
Well, that's yeah, you need that for every, yeah. I when I'm gardening, I confessing, when I'm gardening, Dr. Saber sees me every week. I am back.
Oh my gosh. And
My
once
hands
again,
hurt.
Doc,
Yeah.
you call what you do gardening. I call what you do construction. And so, yeah, there is a large difference, my friend, in those of us planting these little teensy seeds in a little pot and what you do in your grandiose scale. Oh my goodness.
Well, so what is the best way for somebody that's local to reach out to you? Where can they find you?
Yeah, so I am on social media, not a lot. I would say. But you can find me on Instagram and Facebook. And I would say the easiest way of contacting me is my office number. People can text me on my office number, or they can call, and then email is always a really great one too. So yeah.
And could you give us your office number and your email?
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely. So office number is 913-717-7026. And then my primary email that I use would be just Dr. Dr. and then my first and last name. So it's just Dr. Sabra Coop at gmail.com. And so it's DrSabraCoop at gmail.com.
What is
Thank
the
you.
name of your practice, doctor, in case someone actually
Oh,
doesn't know that?
yes. So that's a great question. It is Renew Chiropractic. There were a couple Bible verses that kind of led me to that. And just, renewing our body, or renewing our mind, but also renewing our body. So yeah.
And you are
And is
located
it,
in,
I'm sorry,
sorry, go
doc,
ahead.
is it renewchiropractic.com?
Oh, that's a great question. Okay, so my website actually is drsabracoop.com.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay. So
There
we can
are
stay
a-
consistent. Okay.
Yes, there are a couple more Renew chiropractics like around the US, not in Kansas, but around the US. So I kept my website just my name to make it a
That's
little
beautiful. And of course, I love that from a branding standpoint. So drsabracoop.com. I love that.
And you're Renew Chiropractic and you're in Lenexa, correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not say that at the beginning, we're kind of going backwards. I think it's the cold.
Yeah. I think we need a chiropractor, doc. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, we need to get the spine kind of aligned again, and then go stand outside for a few minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Well, thank you, Dr. Sabra, for joining us today. It was our honor and pleasure to have you. And everyone, please feel free to reach out to her. And there will be a replay if you want to watch this again to get all of the information and just listen about what she's all about. And we appreciate having you on here. And don't forget, Doc and Queenie Facebook Live every Monday at. Thank you, Dr. Sabra, and we will catch everybody. Have a safe, warm weekend, and we'll catch you on Monday. Thank you.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Thank you, doctor. Thanks, doc.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Queenie. See you later.